kama ni jisongeris na ndugu tushuka na bala kama unatoka unadia maana rende ni ya mapanga nikichona mapanga tunakuiza kikujua moyo wako kila wama si mapenzi yangu kuiba patase kucheka nafanya kabla kuiba shahidi na ipa sinto wazenga iki kuchinja na kuzima nutaka na kukarima kata kwa mimi yaje tukuikesha zaidi picha ni maiko tunakuza mangosho mondoni safi kwa nyamaza pigo pato ananiweza labda kwa ndoto rente mtu na iwekelea kongoto kabla kuiba shahidi na ipa sinto wazenga iki kuchinja na kuzima nutaka na kukarima kata kwa mimi yaje tukuikesha zaidi picha ni maiko tunakuza mangosho mondoni safi kwa nyamaza pigo pato ananiweza labda kwa ndoto rente mtu na iwekelea kongoto ondokea kini jeshi ya dimaina masanze wanaije kukuhangaisha mvinyo na ganja sitawaisha so mbona nijipepesha na hii maisha nyukatia mlena na watolea makena choma kuka dela mali yangu najenga biski karibia kuna mtu wanaumia hata bila lupa tulikuwa na wangaria wanapenda mkiwakiria na hizi mlinkosha fulia kani kidama naiwasha na naichimbia ruma zinatikona pesa kwa nyumba tunaikamia sini watu kashela katujanga tukilia niliwawana jana na wama vijana za kuonyesha kwa kula masafiki waka ama kwali matafaka ndo tunaanza tunanyamba ile yetu tunafanya wajanja
You're now listening to the best music. Nishaipenda wanaume wakanyang'anya. Yes, welcome to the Blackwood Fire Network radio station. This is the media of the 21st century, 27 minutes past the top of the hour. Apologies for being late, but we're just a little bit late. And I hope you guys are having a beautiful day on your end. To those who are tuning in on the radio station, Spreaker, Spotify, on all our YouTube channels. To those who get to catch this on a replay on all the rest of our streaming platforms. Good afternoon, good evening from my end. Hope you had a beautiful weekend. Mine was fantastic, can't complain. But of course, welcome to another beautiful, amazing session of the Africa Today show. And today we have a very interesting conversation. A lot has been happening during the weekend and even before the weekend. We've been seeing what America has been up to regarding, is there any possibility of the World War III? Because on Friday we discussed about literally Trump talking about the 2027 budget of America military, literally, which should not be 1 trillion but 1.5 trillion. And we're going to be expounding on that because saw him literally declaring that they're going to be taking over Greenland. We're also seeing literally current possibility of strike, current possibilities of a strike that is in Iran. And also we saw the doomsday nuclear plane
Jovi, you gotta take down this sport thing you got on here.
It's not my fault, Keith. When you pop, StreamYard does that. So my apologies. Can you see?
Okay. No. Now, there you go.
Okay, yeah, StreamYard does. I don't know what happened to it nowadays. It's been doing that. When you pop, it changes everything completely.
Oh.
But yes, Karibuni, I'm saying that we're going to be expounding, of course, we saw, and the question of today is also, how does 1% control the world? And also, which is a big puzzle, and the big puzzle goes back to what we were discussing on Friday, seeing that America and Trump himself, of course, declared that the budget of 2027 military is going to be 1.5 trillion, not 1 trillion. And we saw also the Syria literally attack and the takeover of Venezuela, and also the possibility of taking over Greenland. I also saw Giorgia Meloni talking about how actually Europe needs to also work together with Russia because how dare America? So much is literally happening. But Karibuni sana, those are our top conversation for the day. And it goes back to, again, the big puzzle. How does 1% control the world? Because today on my show, if you caught up with the Pan-African Bliss, I was discussing and trying to break down some of the things, which is a big question. Again, shout to, I'm not sure if it's 10 speed, but one person asked that last week, how does the Israel not, get to control this big population or the whole world and there's no consequences to it? But we say Justice is a matter of power. But before we get into that, a quick reminder to get yourself our application in case you're here for the first time, subscribe. And of course, we are on all the streaming platforms, literally. Blackout Fire is network is everywhere. So in case you have an Amazon TV, Roku TV, you can download our app on your TV and get to literally listen to us either via the radio segment or rather the TV section. You can see me live on all the previous shows, literally. And of course, we have amazing, amazing merchandises in terms of t-shirt, hoodies, beanies. We have mugs, some amazing colorful mugs. We also have some handbags. You can take one for your side chick, Don't let your wife know you're cheating. Yeah.
I got you get one for the fight. Why is everybody gonna have a side chick?
Just because you are loyal and you're married doesn't mean everyone is loyal. Okay, that's the difference. That's also there's another video that has been circulating online of some of the couples that knew each other since they were 14 years, and they've been married like the last 11 years. Like they knew each other since they were 14, and then. Yeah, apparently the husband cheated. So there's this one blog that is very trendy in Kenya that literally knows how to highlight and make you literally go deep into the conversation. They're like, all men cheat. Just don't leave another man, don't leave this man, for cheating, knowing the next man is going to cheat. Which sometimes it's true, but
That's always a lie because majority of women cheat more than men. That's always the old funny thing. Women cheat more than men. Women have more. Look at Joey Fake, because women have more access to men than men have access to women.
but
Always.
that doesn't mean we cheat just because.
I'm just kidding. The numbers. I'm just saying the numbers would be more for women to cheat than it would be for men. It's just that. What. Because I always say men are dog now. When I wasn't married. When I wasn't married, yeah, I did a lot of messed up shit. But when I was married, I was faithful. I think majority of men want to be faithful because I don't know. You never hear your babies tell you cheat on their mother, and unless you already was in a bad marriage, and usually men cheat according to the circumstances. Women cheat because they can. Men cheat because of the circumstances. Most men can't cheat because they're broken sorry.
No, I disagree. We don't cheat because Sister Monique can disagree with. We don't cheat because we can. We cheat because of continuous disappointments. That's one of the things that can lead a woman to cheat. Hypergamy also can be something. I'm not gonna disagree, but
all right, that's right. That's right. I didn't bring that up. Hypergamy, I told you guys, hypergamy is undefeated.
but
Undefeated.
this is if you don't like your man, him being broke, and you're looking for someone who is better than him.
Okay, how about you say, it's not working out? I'm going to go somewhere. You ain't got to cheat on him. Say it's not working out. I'll find someone better. Because in my experience, hypergamy is undefeated.
That's your experience. You see,
I know. I'm just saying. That's when I had a lot of money when I was a teenager. What? When I was a teenager and I had money, man, I could get your girl. Didn't make
you did get a lot of people's money.
I know that was the fun because hypergamy was because I was the same guy. I was the same guy when I didn't have money and women didn't have nothing to do with my ass. Keith, you're too young. Keith, you ain't got no car. So now I got money and car. How did I change? What changed in me?
So you can have money. Shout to Sister Monique saying true, Joby, and especially when they also have a little dick. So you could have money and have a little dick. So I'm not going with that. I'm gonna cheat on you because you're not giving me sexual satisfaction. I need someone who's gonna satisfy me.
You're not gonna leave the man with the money. You have a boy toy on the side. Exactly. You have a big dick Negro on the side.
That literally works perfectly well, So look, we know how to play our cards.
Like I was talking to Demar. Demar is out there busting his gun. Finally got a gun, but he said, "Keith, I think this is better than sex." I was like, "Wow, Demar, you had a lot of bad sex."
Crazy. Shout to him. Yeah, but anyway, everybody in our family, hope you guys are doing amazing. Hope you guys had a beautiful weekend once again. It's 35 minutes past 8 p.m. right here in the 254. Been a beautiful day. Hope you're enjoying yours and welcome because today we're going to be talking about an amazing conversation. Like I said, again, how does 1% control the world? And shout out to the person who posed that question last week. But before we get into that, I want to start with this amazing video here. I remember last week we were talking about how everything is about race, and I bumped into this very angry black woman talking about how there's this great analogy of history of black economy that is not discussed. Again, we go back to the Minnesota. Remember the Minnesota video I shared of the Mundul, the Mundul, can't remember the state, but the state that was owned by black people and it was doing great and white people are not allowed there. If you remember the story I shared.
No. That wasn't a state. That was I was surprised. I never heard of it. It was one of the most racist states. That was. I think it was called Monroe City or some kind of Madison, something like that. It was in Mississippi, Joe. It was in the state of Mississippi. It was a town.
I said Minnesota. I think Minnesota has been so much conversated that is the only word that is stuck in my mouth. Yeah. Sorry about
that. That's them Somalis. Yeah, no big deal. It was state of Mississippi, but still to have that city survive in Mississippi still blows my mind. How did they survive there? Black people come to burn them down to the ground and massacre their ass.
Yeah, I have this video of this woman breaking down still the same whole topic we're having last week, but she's more kind of angry and attacking about it. Listen.
If I right now decided that I wanted to play Monopoly with you, and for 400 rounds of playing Monopoly, I didn't allow you to have any money. I didn't allow you to have anything on the board. I didn't allow you to have anything. And then we played another 50 rounds of Monopoly, and everything that you gained and you earned while you were playing that round of Monopoly was taken from you. That was Tulsa. That was Rosewood. Those are places where we built black economic wealth, where we were self-sufficient, where we owned our stores, where we owned our property, and they burned them to the ground.
Everything.
So that's 450 years. So for 400 rounds of Monopoly, you don't get to play at all. Not only do you not get to play, you have to play on the behalf of the person that you're playing against. You have to play and make money and earn wealth for them, and then you have to turn it over to them. So then for 50 years, you finally get a little bit and you're allowed to play. And every time that they don't like the way that you're playing or that you're catching up or that you're doing something to be self-sufficient, they burn your game. They burn your cards. They burn your Monopoly money. And then finally at the release and the onset of that, they allow you to play and they say, okay, now you catch up. Now at this point, the only way you're going to catch up in the game is if the person shares the wealth, correct? But what if every time you share the wealth, then there's psychological warfare against you to say, oh, you're an equal opportunity hire. So if I played 400 rounds of Monopoly with you and I had to play and give you every dime that I made, and then for 50 years, every time that I played, if you didn't like what I did, you got to burn it like they did in Tulsa and like they did in Rosewood. How can you win? How can you win? You can't win. The game is fixed.
I meant to win. Exactly.
So exactly, we go back to the 1%. So I love the fact that I started with that video because it still hints with the topic and stick with the topic, right? How does 1% control the world? Literally, because we're living in a monopoly system. That is just a fact. You know, it's not just a system; it's a monopoly system, and it's a system where
exactly what it is.
Where black people will never, especially black people, are not supposed to be on the top. They're not
On the
supposed
bottom,
to be exactly. They're not supposed to be anywhere in the top. But also, it also goes back to something I think John Mosquito also talked about, and something we talked about also last week, talking about when I thought and questioned when I was young if white people had tribes. But Mosquito said for them it's not about tribe, it's classism, which again, it goes back to monopoly, exactly what she said. So still, how does 1% control the world? That's the big puzzle. But before we get into even deeper conversation, because stick with the conversation, like I said, we're going to be talking about America and how they say they're going to be increasing their military funds. That
Oh,
is in
yeah.
2027. But this doesn't seem like just 2027 because we're seeing already attacks in countries like Venezuela, right? We're seeing attacks in countries like Nigeria. Let's not just focus on what is happening in Europe and all that, or the other countries, but also Africa is very much targeted. I mentioned earlier today we have the UN military cars and machines that have been seen entering Kenya, that is in Nakuru, which is leaving so many Kenyans questioning what could this be meaning? Is this about the Minnesota or is this about the gold? But you know, still
It's
all
not
these.
about it's not about Minnesota. This is what try to explain to Africa. This is a new scramble for Africa. So as their systems start to collapse, they beg. I was just on the phone with the Maury for about 2 hours trying to explain to him, let him show how had to reword the questions because Google would lie to him about 1%. How the stock market is a fraud. How things are fake. There's still money from the bottom and move it to the top. So there's a re-scramble for Africa again because Africa has real resources. And so with their fake money system starting to crumble in Europe and America, they got to take the mask off. Soft power, I can't use soft power no more to affect you because too many of you starting to wake up and know I'm stealing from you. So I can't be just using Negroes dancing and talking and singing and all that goofy shit and say you want to give me your resources. Now I got to be brutal with you and bring in hard power. That's when you know an empire is coming to an end because they just removed the mask. They want to talk about democracy and freedom and all that civil rights bullshit. It's about you got resources. I'm gonna smack you in the head. I'm gonna take them and make them mine and call them mine. So that's what you see happening, and that's why they want to double down on the military budget because they want to go to war, guys. They want to reshape the globe. That's why you got the cats with the hats in Iran destabilizing it. Iran's about to fall because that's one of the countries what they didn't have a Rothschild bank. Venezuela didn't have a Rothschild bank. So these are for power systems. So, and also, like I said, it's showing you also that China, and like I told you, Africa, America can't fight China or Russia. I said, moron, you have no idea. You guys don't understand real. You look at too many goofy movies. You don't understand. America could dominate Russia anytime it wanted to. The only reason why they're doing it now is because the financial system is collapsed. So they're going to start. They want a war to happen. So they're getting really everything they want. Iran's about to collapse. They got people in the street, and Russia can't. Russia's what, an ally of Iran. It can't protect them. Like they couldn't protect Syria. They couldn't protect Venezuela. Remember, Joby Reed, what the Venezuelan guy said. He said, American military holds certain technology that I've never seen in my life. He said they were paralyzed. They were paralyzed. They were paralyzed when America did some kind of burst of energy where everybody started bleeding from their noses and eyes and all that stuff. So this is how ruthless they're going to be now. So America killed like 150 people, innocent men, women, and children. So they're not, no one's concerned about those people. They just murdered those people, right? Just murdered them. So what you have now, and that's why also Trump said, any of you YNs, you young Negroes, right, who have any kind of criminal record, you're going to be drafted in the military automatically. 18, like 28, they're preparing for a war. Because at the end of the day, the Jays and white people want to give up their power. They stole the world and they plan to keep it. So they know their fake banking system is collapsing. That's how they were bribing the world, bribe out these goofy African dictators, give them no money. But if that money has no more value, what can they bribe them with? Nothing. So that's what you have happening right now. The face is slipping, and they throwing Europe under the bus too. Like I told you, Europe can fight Africa, but Europe can't fight no real military. Europe is hollowed out. That's why they said Europe said we're going to fight Trump about Greenland. Europe will get his back broke. There's no strong military in Europe. England, France, Germany, these are all jokes. These are all jokes. They can't fight no America. They get washed out and washed up. That's why America tell you, we're gonna take Greenland. And you'll say, well, we're going to war against you. With what? With who? So, what Joby's saying, the 1% understand that the money's going to be made in the global south. And so they're trying to maneuver everything to China and Africa, but keep the Africans still impoverished. Keep them still fucked up. But they want America to implode, to overstretch itself militarily, and they want it to come out. But the other white people don't want it. There's a fight right now between the 1%. The 1% that want to keep America going, and the other 1% wanted to implode. So you got a fight going on. It's just about dominance. Go ahead, Joe.
So before I share the video you've seen on your screen, which is trying to explain also what you're saying, we have one of these, the CIA explaining why US is so powerful and dominant over Europe, literally, because you also need to understand.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, exactly. I know you guys going to bring that up. Exactly. See, if Africa ever got a backbone, stop being cowards, and develop a military, Europe is too weak to wage war against Africa. But the Africans are so shell-shocked, so scared of white people, so scared of Europeans. Have you ever developed a real army, a real military in Africa, you can take out Europe. Europe is weak. Go ahead, Joe.
So before I share that video, I have this article I want to read, which I promised to read today. And still, we go back. The question is, again, how does 1% control the world? And remember, we have 4%.
To the monkey. To the fake money scheme.
90% are asleep, and 5% know what is going on and are trying to wake up the 90%. The 1% now want the 5% waking up the 90%. Again, it's a big puzzle. Again, how does 1% control literally the rest of the percentages, including the puppets, because they're not in a safe place?
Because they control the money printing machine, Joby. That's why. So if I control all the money, that's why at the end of the day, the control of currency is the most important thing. That's why when Gaddafi was talking about making a new currency, he had to go. The control of currency, that allows me, Joby, to pay off everybody and put me at the top. Because I make the money. I make the fake money. You don't. I make it. With my fake banks. So that's go ahead.
So let's read this article, which talks about Nat Rothschild and how now they are calling for Iran's leader to be removed. They are saying that the Mossad and are behind the protests in Iran. Mossad.
I said that. See, I didn't know you were going. I told you that exactly. The Mossad, which is Israeli, which is the cats with the hats, and the CIA, which is a puppet of them, right, are behind the destabilization of Iran. I know it. And they're gonna get his ass. They're gonna get his ass out the box. You got to go. Go get rid of your ass. We're gonna use your people because you're too stupid. You should have gave your people some freedom a little bit so they couldn't come in and overthrow you this way. But you're too busy with that Islamic stupid shit. That's given to the morons. Okay, you morons, you think you're Islamic? You better figure out where Islam came from and who created the shit in the first place. The same elites created that fake Islam shit. Go ahead, Joe.
So Mossad and the CIA are behind the protests in Iran. Mossad has a famous motto, which is, in quote, by way of deception, thou shalt do well. Thou shalt do well. Iran is one of the few countries not aligned with the Rothschilds, influence central banking. Literally, like
I mean, not a lot. You know, they're a lot. We mean not a lot. We know it was the Rothschilds that created Israel, Joby, through the Balfour Declaration. With Lord Rothschild said, I want that. I want this area. And the King of England said, okay, Lord Rothschild, you can have it. They tell me they're not allowed. They're created by, that's why the main street is called Rothschild Way. Are you crazy? They completely control the country. They created the country. Go ahead, Jay.
So they're saying that the Rothschild profited from every major war, which number one, we have
Exactly.
Napoleonic Wars,
Mhm.
Crimean War, we have the World War One, World War Two, and beyond. They funded destruction and reconstruction and made trillions from war. They created modern governments, debt systems. They also created Israel, of course. That is something.
Exactly. That's what I'm just saying. So how could they not be aligned with Israel when they created that country, Joe? They literally created it from nothing. Go ahead.
Yeah, so they're also saying that Iran is one of the last major countries not integrated into IMF,
Exactly.
Western Rothschild central banking dominance. Iran
Exactly.
is also the way of the Greater Israel Project, which is also the Greater Israel Colony. And now Mossad-backed protesters are setting mosques on fire in terror.
Fire.
A typical Israel behavior. They have been burning down churches, mosques in Palestine for a long time. Mossad agents were providing instructions to paid operatives after they got caught rioting in Iran. It's clearly a foreign intelligence operation is included. Mossad has a famous quote, again, by way of deception,
That's
thou
them. We do war.
and it works. Mossad deceives,
Of course it
Mossad
works.
deceives Iranians, and the Zionists controlled politicians, and Western media deceive the Western world. Iran controls access of the Strait of Hormuz. Hormuz, if I'm pronouncing correctly. 20% of the world's oil passes through that choke point. Control Hormuz is equal to control energy markets. Bomb it, and you have a massive problem worldwide. Remember, before the Iraq war, Netanyahu publicly warned that Saddam had weapons of mass destruction.
Mass destruction.
He testified before the U.S. Congress.
Congress.
He gave speeches. He pushed the agency. No WMDs, I don't know what that means, whatever.
I mean, WMDs is weapons of mass destruction, Joe. We saying Iraq was close to having a nuclear bomb, which is a lie. So that means weapons of mass destruction. Because since they own the media, remember, Joe, they own the media. So they'll get the dummies in America. What? Weapons of mass destruction? We must go and invade Iraq and get Saddam, Joby. We must go get him before he launches a nuclear bomb on us, Joby. We must go get him.
Millions died. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course, millions died. Exactly, millions died, Joby, off a lot. They knew it was a lie when they said it.
Mm-hmm. The region collapsed, and American soldiers died for Israel, of course, which is always. In 2000, there were 9 countries without a Rothschild-aligned central bank. We have Iran, Iraq, Cuba, Syria, Libya, Sudan, Venezuela, Afghanistan, and North Korea. Most of them were bombed, sanctioned, and destroyed economically. American soldiers didn't die for America, but for the Rothschilds. Mm-hmm. This is why people say all wars are banked wars.
Banking wars, exactly. Explain this, Joby. In every war, you got to pose an enemy and another country's fight, right? Like World War I, World War II. So how could it be that the Rothschilds are funding both sides of the war, Joby? They're fighting the ones you're fighting against and you. So they win no matter what, who dies, who wins. Because they funded both sides of every war.
Mm-hmm. And Zionist bankers profit massively, literally. And the regime change in Iran would mean, if the regime changed in Iran, it would mean the Rothschilds aligned banking, Israel colony expanding and genociding neighbors without consequences, IMF loans, foreign military access, and privatization of resources, including oil, gold.
Of course, public-private partnerships, Joby, that bullshit. When it comes to all your shit, they put it on the name. Leave the people poor like they do right now in Libya, and they steal and they stay rich, Joby. That's how the 1%. This is how the 1% controls the world, Joby.
Same pattern every single time. Same pattern every single time. Independent nations control their currency, their capital flows, their interest rates, their resources, revenues. That limits outside influence, and the Rothschilds don't like that. So independence becomes the problems. Independence becomes the problem, and this pattern isn't new. Remember, we also talked about the sovereignty today, earlier today on my show. Yes, about when we're talking about Libya and Gaddafi. Chile in 1997, this is the pattern which isn't new. Chile in 1973, sorry. We also had Iraq in 2003, Libya 2011, of course, when Gaddafi was killed, Venezuela, which is very recent, when the president has been arrested. Different stories, same mechanics. This is why Iran is always described as evil, irrational, backwards, and dangerous. Demonization always comes before interventions. Again, the quote, by way of deception, thou shalt do well. People ask, why do elites care so much? Because it's about creating one world government, of course, which is part of their agenda, remember, controlling trade routes, financial leverage, and Greater Israel Project. The Rothschilds do not care about Americans or Irans. Neither do the Venezuelans. Venezuela, Iran, Libya, Iraq all get the same narrative. Again, quote, liberation. But liberation is not only illusion. Only the naive believe that liberation comes from a corrupt foreign empire. Only the naive believe that the Rothschilds are trying to free them. Liberation never looks like economic independence, sovereignty, neutral foreign policy. They're saying that it always looks like debt, privatization. Again, we go back, which is also our country. Kenya is very much invested in privatization, military bases, and more wars. It's not liberation. It's total enslavement. People think war is emotional. It isn't. It's manufactured, very much planned, and very much it's contractual. This isn't a real, the real question is never, is this leader good or bad? 99% of the leaders are corrupt and bad. So this is why we also go back to 4%. 4%, which are the puppets. Again, 90% are actually not aware of what is happening. 5% are trying to make the 90% understand what is happening. Remembering, only 1% controls the narrative and controls the world. The question is, who controls the territory? Again, the 1%. Because this, I love the fact that this goes back to the topic. The question is, who controls the territory, the banking, the resources, and the trade after? Who obeys and who doesn't? So if you go back to the question of who controls the territory, the banking, resources, and trade after, that goes back to the 1%. Who obeys and who doesn't? Who obeys is the 4%, who are the puppets. Who doesn't are the 5%, who, of course, also the 1% don't want the 5% waking up the 90%, because that's going to increase the number. So it's really, really a very much interesting pattern. But let me share this video of what Keith was trying to break down of how America is very powerful when it comes to war.
The United States. Who rebuilt the UK? Who rebuilt Japan? The United States. Who rebuilt the UK? The United States. Who rebuilt Germany? Who rebuilt France? All the United States. Is it any surprise that all of these countries since World War II have then been close diplomatic, political, and economic allies? No. And guess what they all have? They all have very similar sheds, because we built their political systems from World War II based on ours. Right?
You need to ask yourself,
that's the American model.
But where'd they get the resources to rebuild Japan and Europe? Where'd that come from? Anybody know? Africa.
That's been how America has grown economically so quickly all over the world. Guess who's mimicking that model now? China. The real conflict between the United States and China, nobody can define it. Trump calls it a trade war because we have a bunch of cheap Chinese goods.
But who set up China? That's not
the problem. The problem
China
is that Xi Jinping
didn't grow by itself. What happened to how did China go from poor to rich? You got to ask yourself. China was poorer than Kenya 40 years ago. So how the hell is now China a world power and all this other shit? Because that was they plan to move everything. And everybody thinks BRICS is in competition. already told you, Cats with the Hats created bricks. Go ahead, Joe.
He wants for China is for China to be a net exporter of high technology. Who's the only other net exporter of high technology? The United States. The United States makes electric vehicles. China makes electric vehicles. The United States makes telecommunication. China makes telecommunication. That's the conflict, because what China is doing is giving the rest of the developing world an alternative to the United States. Who rebuilt Japan? The United States. Who rebuilt?
Europe's military has been so weak for the past 80 years because the United States has been picking up their check for that whole time. Europe gets to brag about free healthcare, affordable college, an easier quality of life because they do very little military spending. Perfect example, look at the title of this article. Record high European defense spending, and that record number for the European Union is $345 billion in 2022, while the US military budget is approaching $900 billion. Last time we came close to only spending $345 billion on our budget was in the very early 1950s during the Korean War. Up until recently, Europe has been enjoying a nice free ride at the hands of the Americans. The US established NATO in 1949 as a means of containing Russia. It was an alliance mainly of Western European countries and the United States, in which the United States said, if anyone attacks any of my allies here, that is considered a declaration of war against the US. And then we obliterate whoever starts it. Russia got the message, which is why all they did was make threats against Western Europe, but they never actually set foot. Second reason for NATO was that Western Europe was too stupid to be as powerful as they were, namely Germany, England, France, even Italy. Look at World War I and World War II. The third reason, for economic and financial reasons, obviously, was to make sure that this wealthiest segment of the world had enough money to buy American products and to invest in American financial instruments. It's a lot more money to have around if you don't spend it on your military. That's why Europe does a lot of whatever we say, and we get to keep over 50,000 of our troops there. It's also the reason why Russia didn't invade the rest of Europe after World War II. And it always entertains me when European people are like, oh, you Americans, you are so backwards. Look at our people compared to your people. We take care of our citizenry so much better. Same people have no idea how their economy actually works and how much we're actually covering for them. I know I made them sound French because in my eyes, the French are the biggest leeches in all of Europe. If you don't believe me, go research the former French colonies in West Africa and also Haiti. I'm sure a lot of Americans are mad because they think too much of our economy goes into military spending. Those Americans are wrong. 1962, we spent 9% of our GDP on military spending. In fact, that was a lot of the 1960s. That time period was one of our most wealthy and successful. Healthcare and college education was pennies compared to what it is now. In fact, we are spending less money compared to our GDP than we ever have. 3%, that small amount of our GDP, is still more than any other country is spending. From 1950 to today, we have spent an average of over $600 billion a year on the military. If you calculate that number in today's dollars, we have spent over $42 trillion in defense since 1950. China and Russia combined in that same time period doesn't even total $12 trillion, meaning that America is easily $30 trillion ahead.
Well, China couldn't. China was poor. China was still poor there, stupid. China couldn't spend that kind of money. China was just poor. China just became a wealthy country. China was poor. Russia's always been poor. They couldn't spend that kind of money. I'm doing a joke.
A threat in total military spending over the past 75 years. A lot of Europe allowed themselves to get frail and weak and easily spooked by the Russian military, except for Poland. Poland will drag the entire Russian army if they send one of their troops onto Polish soil. I'm curious to see the social reforms that will take place in Europe as a result of their need to spend more on their own defense. I'm the Geo Husar, and Europe should have been doing this 10 years ago. Thanks for watching.
What if the whole world is against the USA? Every single army in the world combined still wouldn't match America's military power. The US spends more on defense than the next 10 countries combined. A mind-blowing $877 billion annually. Even if all nations joined forces, they'd face massive logistical problems just getting their troops to American soil. The U.S. Navy controls the seas with 11 aircraft carriers, while the rest of the world has only 15 combined. America's geography is another invisible shield. 2 massive oceans on each coast, friendly neighbors north and south, and diverse terrain from mountains to deserts make invasion nearly impossible. But here's the real kicker. The U.S. has 750 military bases in 80 different countries. The closest any potential enemy could get to matching that, Russia with just 21 foreign bases. This isn't just military strength, it's total global dominance.
But the question goes back to, there's something you mentioned some time back. You said Russia has the best military weapons globally. So how come still...
I said not weapons. I said they're the best, to me, airplanes globally. Not weapons. I don't know what America has a lot of secret weapons. I think Chinese weapons are probably better than Russians, man. But I think Russia had the best aircraft. But not weapons. Russian weapons always been sorry. All right. Like I said, they're regular AK-47. That shit don't shoot straight at all. But
No?
good thing about it doesn't not really precision. You're trying to like kill somebody up close. You can like spray a bunch of bullets and kill them. But if you like, the military. I'm thinking about the AK-47, which is better than ours. Is that see weapons you got to clean all the time, Joe. You got to keep them clean so they work. One thing about the AK-47, which is better than American weapons, you can drag that shit to the dirt, get through the swamp, and you get up, and that shit still fire, still kill your ass. American weapons, you drag that shit to the dirt, and a jam, it's all dirty, it don't work right. God damn, it gets you killed. But its accuracy is better. So if you keep it clean, which is hard to do, you're fighting a war. Keep your weapon clean. American weapons are better with accuracy, Joe, right? If I point it at you, it looks like I'm gonna blow your head off. Russia, they point at you, it might miss you.
Okay, understood. But as we move on, still on the same conversation, remember last week we also hinted on Trump mentioning on taking over Greenland. So I want to share a little bit on that, and then we also look at the U.S. dooms nuclear plane, because so many people are talking about this and questioning, could there be now a possibility, because how America is moving, it's like we're literally moving towards World War III, and it's not even a discussion. It's very much evident. There's something being planned that people don't know.
Yeah, because World War III does three things. It has population control, kills a lot of people, because you don't call it murder, call it war. You kill a lot of people, a lot of goofy Africans to go fight it, kill a bunch of their ass off. It resets your economy back to zero, Joby. So no more debt. So you still maintain control.
Damn. So who could this be set on? Whose debt could be literally trying to be wiped out? Who's trying to be wiped out?
America.
It's crazy, but listen.
On Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia
like it or not,
or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. Okay.
So this was said.
Russia and China not take over no Greenland. That's great.
After this, Giorgia Meloni saying that actually Europe needs to work with Russia because there's no way America has the audacity of doing all this. As he says, there's no way we're going to have Russia and China as our neighbor.
Now you said they got to work with Russia when they try to fight Russia, right? Actually, they got to try to fight Russia because they know militarily Europe is weak, Joey. They can't fight anybody. Remember, they've been fighting Russia for 4 years in Ukraine. Now they got to team up with Russia because Europe cannot stop America. If America really wanted to take over Greenland, England, France, Germany all together couldn't do shit. Sweden, Italy, Spain, they couldn't do nothing but run their mouth and get knocked in the head. That's it.
I would like to make a deal, the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way. Right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. Okay.
Y'all
Look
love
at the comment of so many people.
Shut it laughing. Zuckerberg. He said you're gonna just go kill people and take over their country, Joe. All right. Yeah. We're gonna just kill them, Joey. Take over their shit. Yeah.
It's crazy because so many comments people are saying that Trump will be the beginning of World War III. Another person says he's gonna get us all killed. Someone also says Russia is already your neighbor, a few steps away.
This up from Alaska, exactly. Oh, your neighbor.
And someone also says he's on a death wish, taking the US with him. Lol. And another person, the last two comments I'm gonna read on that.
Remember, Joey, when Trump was running, remember that he was gonna stop the wars. Remember, I'm gonna stop the wars. I'm gonna stop wars. We don't need these wars. All these wars are goofy. And I told you, the people that wanted to put his ass in power want these wars. And that's all bullshit he's saying.
Of course, like, come on, because the first thing we saw him was him supporting Israel on still.
Exactly.
The Hamas people, like, please come on. Like, what else do you need to tell us about you stopping the wars, dear Trump? And he said that he's also been impeached, so he knows what he's doing. He's getting him in trouble. But let's talk about the Doomsday plane. What is this all about?
A presidential aircraft that has earned the nickname the Doomsday Plane was spotted at LAX, and people on social media are freaking out. Amid extreme global tension, the Boeing E-4 Advanced Airborne Command Post was filmed landing in Los Angeles. People began to freak out because if there was a nuclear war, this is the plane that President Trump would take to travel. This plane is just one of several in a fleet that is constantly on alert, can handle a nuclear blast, and is protected from an electromagnetic pulse. The U.S. Air Force explains it further, saying, "In case of national emergency or destruction of ground command and control centers, the aircraft provides a highly survivable command, control, and communication center to direct U.S. forces, execute emergency war orders, and coordinate actions by civil authorities." So far, no official word onto why the aircraft was out and about. We're out to the White House and the Air Force for answers. So far, no word, but we will keep you updated.
The Doomsday plane, the Doomsday thing, Joey, the Doomsday plane was like, they're supposed to go in the sky, Joey, and stay up there while they drop nuclear bombs and destroy the Earth. But then you gotta land. Once you land, the world is all fucked up. It's gone.
Yeah. They
don't care.
Yeah, I looked into it. It is capable. That's why you can hear it's capable of surviving the nuclear. It's crazy.
All the water's poison. All the food is poison. They don't care.
Secure aircraft on Earth, the Doomsday plane descended into civilian airspace and touched down at the Los Angeles International Airport. And this wasn't a parade flyover, and it wasn't a training show. It was real, deliberate, and caught live on camera by stunned aviation spotters watching real time, like they've never seen this before. And this aircraft exists for worst case scenarios when leadership must remain in control no matter what happens on the ground during a nuclear interchange or exchange. So the question is simple. Was this landing about routine travel, or was it a quiet message of readiness sent in plain sight to Russia? Because what you're about to see is something the public almost never gets to witness. Let's get into it. My name is Tom. I'm with the Daily Beltway, and I'm also a White House correspondent for the Next News Network. And what you're seeing today is not speculation or internet rumor or social media hype. It is a confirmed, documented event involving one of the most secure military assets on the face of the earth or ever built by America. And guys, we're a growing channel, and every like, comment, share, and subscription helps us grow. Also, sharing this report matters more than you think because too many Americans never see these signals until it's too late. I want you guys to check this out. It's the E-4B Night Watch Doomsday plane making an appearance at LAX. Check it out.
Wow, look at this.
A presidential aircraft that has earned the nickname the Doomsday.
Something happened last night. It almost never happened. I think we only have 2 or 3 of those planes. And this aircraft is not designed for visibility. It was designed for survival in the case of a nuclear exchange. And the E-4B exists so civilian leadership can command the entire United States military if ground infrastructure is compromised. It can coordinate nuclear forces, conventional units, cyber responses, and global operations, all while airborne. It's pretty insane. And on board was Pete Hegseth, and that detail matters. Cabinet officials don't casually travel on this platform. And when they do, it signals seriousness, planning, and and continuity. I'm going to ask you guys this. If you believe the landing shows preparedness, I want you to say iron ready in the comments. And if you think it's a message meant for foreign adversaries watching every radar screen, comment they see it.
I feel like the puzzle and the question that people should be asking is the possibility of where this could be happening. Like that's the question. I feel like that's what people should be concerned about, unless I'm wrong. Like, where is this gonna be happening? Like, who is going to war with who? I mean, so far, so many things have been made clear.
Exactly. What's the message? This is, you understand, they do this a lot of posturing they do. So this is showing Russia and China, we're ready to go to war with you, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
We're ready to destroy everything.
Yeah, I saw also there was a video that was circulating on TikTok where China did open the, I don't know what they call it. I'm going to use the radar, which detects a plane from miles away, like any type of plane.
But isn't it funny? China and Russia has done nothing. Maduro's been in prison over a week. They say, oh, you better get him back, you better do this. And what have they done? So this blowing hot smoke. Told you, if Russia and China don't do nothing, they look more and more weaker on the world stage. So a lot of these puppets are gonna be like, hey, I can't go with you. I might get snatched in the middle of the night and get my butt cheeks tapped.
There's a question with these other videos, and then maybe we can get into another interesting conversation. You can guide someone like I see 10 Speed with a question of which you had promised to tackle that during the weekend, but you were busy and didn't get time to do that. He's questioning, going back to still the topic, what is the name of the God that created them and how did they get here? Because we're talking about 1% of the people that control this world. So
talking about the demiurge.
Yeah.
They call the demiurge, Yaldabaoth. Guys do worship called Jehovah. Same one. It's not a god though. It's an entity. I told you go read the Nag Hammadi text. Go read the Nag. The one that you was screaming and worshiping when you was a kid in church. That's the one. Jehovah, Yahweh. The demiurge, Yaldabaoth. So he created them and the Archon, Archon energy. So I said, go read the Nag Hammadi text, which funny, which your Bibles is based off of. They just reversed everything. When the Nag Hammadi text will tell you Jehovah is the devil, or what you would consider the devil. Consider the wicked motherfucker. He's the false creator, perpetrating the fraud as being the real creator of the universe when this entity is not. So go back to ancient terms, it would be the demiurge, Yaldabaoth. Talk to the Chinese guy on TikTok saying all this as well. This is ancient African science, 10 Speed. This has been the Africans, not the goofy ones you got running around today. The ancient Africans been knew all this. Ancient African history. This is science. I mean, the Dogon and certain shaman in Africa still know this truth. So do it, Joey.
Okay.
Here's what we say. Go to Google. I'm gonna say, what is the definition of the demiurge? D-M-U-R-G-E. I think that's how you spell it. What is the definition of the demiurge? That's the best definition I give. What is the definition of the demiurge? Go ahead.
Saying that the term you are likely demiurge, which is has a several definition. Let me just a minute. Let me do this. Okay. They're saying it's a being. It's a being responsible for the creation of the universe.
No, not the universe. See, not the universe, but the earth, the realm we have here.
In a Platonic philosophy, the maker or the creator of the world.
Yes, exactly. So the creator of this world, Tinsby, see, and who you guys have been worshiping as the creator of the universe, when it is not. It is not the creator of the universe. It's the creator of this existence, this 3D realm that we live in. And that's what the Nag Hammadi text in ancient Africans told you, that there's a demiurge that has been made in charge of this planet, right? That created this planet when it was trying to escape true God. That's where you get the devil story from. And I said all these biblical stories come from older stories. See, once you understand that, you understand what's going on. These biblical stories are not ancient. They come from older stories and given different names. So the devil, that's why when you read your Bible, you can mix up the devil and God for one, because it's the same being. Nobody say the devil's the light bearer and God and Jesus the light bearer. That's why you mixing up your gods in the Bible on purpose, so you don't know that you're worshiping the devil and the God is the same fucking entity that you're worshiping. That's why people say, waking up, say, what if you found out the devil is God? God is the devil. Because that's what it is. Ancient Africans knew that the thing that you're worshiping as the creator of the universe is not. It created this realm because it was detached from true creation, and it has to feed off our energy. It's the demiurge. And see, even that, they know. Remember, they create these people that create Google. That's how you know Google's lying. Google said demiurge is known as the creator of the universe. No, it's not. What? Demiurge is known as the creator of the earth and the solar system, and it's a soul trap. It's a magnetic field around this solar system. That's why you die, you come back. You die, you come back. You die, you come back. You die. You're in a reincarnation soul trap. You die, you come back. You die, you come back. Because this thing has to feed off your energy because it's detached from truth. So that's why you never learn no real science, everything's always a lie. That's why to maintain power, it must consistently give you lies. You don't know how the world, you don't know how real science works. You understand that you're caught up in a soul trap. When you die, you'll see whatever goofy religion being you believe in. Let's say you're a Muslim. Allah, or Jesus, coming. So you'll be thrown into another damn body. You'll recycle energy. So if you understand that black people, you are the faces of the creator, everything feeds off. That's why everybody hates us, because it feeds off our energy. That's why everything it puts African people on the bottom and in misery, because these things feed off your energy. That's what the demiurge is. See, but Google just told you that's the creator of the universe. You're like, what? Are you insane? They're lying to you in your face. It's the creator of this realm of existence. Go ahead, Joe.
Let me share this, because since we've shifted into that, and everyone has understood what's happening in America and all that, let's get into a little bit of science. I don't know if TikTok is gonna give me the true facts of what you're trying to explain, but let me share this.
Go. So the demiurge. Go. Let's see.
But we'll get to that. And if you are white, he is your father. Not only that, you're also Greek. But we'll get to that. Yaqub, as we know him, first appeared in the writings of Wallace Fard Muhammad, the founder of the Nation of Islam, simplified as the NOI, or NOI. No, which is his offshoot.
That's a Yaqub myth. No, Joe, not that shit.
Okay.
That's the biggest scientist.
Have you ever?
So they're not giving me the demiurge. So TikTok is not gonna give me.
According to some school of thought, Yahweh came on this.
So if I tell you the truth, you promise you won't get mad. All right, now here we go. This is the most accurate chart of Noah's 3 sons. Everyone started out dark skin. Now, as we get into the different nationalities, I want to say a lot of people are mixed. Mixed with what?
They keep going to that Bible trip. No.
Worship your entire life isn't God at all.
Let me see on YouTube if I can get semi video. Just a minute. see if I can phrase it.
We're saying, I give this same the biggest side of this. So they're saying the black people here, right? You're the only people here. You're all that goofy Noah's Ark shit, all that made up shit. They're saying during the time of Atlantis that the demiurge and black people globally were started falling vibration. So they started mixing, because there's a 25,000 year cycle of time. So as they start falling in vibration and knowledge, they start becoming more tribal. So they started mixing genetics to try to make a being that could be savage and fight wars.
Okay, let me share.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Let me share this one. We say it's relative.
Go ahead.
There's a being, ancient, powerful, and supremacist, who once looked out over the heavens and declared, "I am God."
Exactly. Just a demiurge.
And for a time, no one challenged him. He created stars, planets, rulers. He built laws and cycles. He shaped a world that mirrored the divine, but without its light. And from his throne, hidden deep within the illusion he made, he believed himself the ultimate creator. But he was wrong. This being, called Yaldabaoth by some, Samael by others, is not the source of all things.
No.
He is not the true God. He is a shadow, born from a mistake, ruling over a world that didn't belong to him. A story of false light and hidden truth. Of a God who wasn't really a God. And the rebellion that began when humanity remembered what they truly were. This is the story of the Demiurge, the false god that created our universe.
Exactly. Not our universe. God damn.
In the beginning.
Not our universe. They created our solar system. Not the universe.
There was
That's why our solar system is a soul trap. That's why it's got a magnetic field wrapped around the Earth and mapped around the solar system. Not the universe, not even our galaxy. Our solar system. Go ahead, Joker.
Endless, perfect, complete. This was the Pleroma, the fullness beyond all worlds, a realm not made of stars or space, but of divine essence, where beings known as aeons existed in harmony, each one a reflection of some sacred truth. Among them was Sophia, the aeon of wisdom. But in her longing to understand the
understand this though. Okay, they try to make them white. There was no white people don't exist. No white. So there ain't no white lady, no white nothing. Okay? And these people, it wasn't no white people. So Sophia wasn't white, only black people. Only black things in the universe. Right? Or not even color. We're no white. White? There's other things. It's all natural. Go ahead.
More deeply, she acted alone. Without her masculine counterpart, she tried to bring forth something new, something from within herself. But what emerged was not a being of light. It was something else. Twisted, malformed, and incomplete. This new entity was nothing like the others.
When you create, you gotta have female and masculine energy. So Sophia tried to create someone out its other half, right? Without its masculine half. The other story says it was actually Yaldabaoth, but the demiurge tried to create someone out its feminine half. The story goes back both ways. Go ahead, Joker.
Yes, but no awareness of where that power came from. It was born in ignorance, cut off from the fullness above. And in her shame, Sophia cast it away, hiding it in a lower realm, far from the light of the Pleroma. This being would later call himself Yaldabaoth, but for the sake of consistency, we'll refer to him as the Demiurge for the remainder of the story. He opened his eyes in a lifeless void, alone, isolated. There were no stars, no voices, no light, so he assumed the obvious. He must be the only one. I am God, and there is no one else beside me. That was his first mistake, and the beginning of all others.
Right?
The Gnostics described the demiurge.
Pause. I told you get the nonsense. I said the Nag Hammadi text, the Gnostics, the ancient Africans. Go get the Nag Hammadi. That's where your goopy Bible comes from. The Nag Hammadi text. Go get that. Read it. The Africans knew this motherfucker wasn't God. Go ahead, Joe.
In strange and unsettling ways. He wasn't just alien. He was wrong. A lion-faced serpent wrapped in coils of fire, or a massive being of blinding light, yet somehow cold, without warmth or love. His eyes burned with arrogance, his mouth always speaking law. His form constantly shifting. He looked like something trying to imitate divinity, but missing the mark. A shadow cast by a broken mirror. The demiurge was loud, proud, obsessed with being worshipped.
Exactly. That's why you guys. That's why you guys. Exactly. Through fear. That's why your religions are based what? In fear. I'm gonna go to hell. I'm gonna go die. I'm gonna go whatever. Because that's what you're worshiping. See, this fucking thing can't put you in no goddamn hell. Shit don't exist. So that's why. And then it created this created the solar system created a trap because it's detached from true God. Like I showed you, everything is connected through energy to back to real God. Energy. This thing is detached from energy. And so that's why it needs to feed off your energy. Go ahead, Joe.
Laws without mercy. He demanded obedience without question. But beneath all that pride was fear. Fear of being questioned. Fear of being challenged. Fear that, deep down, he wasn't truly divine. He acted like a god because he didn't know he wasn't one. The demiurge had immense creative force. He inherited that much from Sophia. He could shape matter, bend energy, bring things into form.
Exactly.
He built entire
Exactly. He
realms
can
from
bend
nothing.
matter because remember, exactly. You guys need to understand how the universe really works. Okay. Through your mind, you can bring matter into anything when you have enough energy. So it can only build this solar system. It couldn't build galaxies because it doesn't have enough energy. So when you're in the universe, you're not in a body. You're just nothing but energy. You're energetic being. And so it started building its own, what we call universe, which is a solar system. But it couldn't build, it could never build a true sun because it didn't have enough energy. Right? So that's when you get the fit with the Dogon telling you how the creator of the universe took from the Paloma, connect our sun back to the Paloma to give it energy, or every realm down here would cease to exist because this moron here didn't have enough energy to create any sun. You don't have enough energy, but he could create planets, but not a complete sun. So that's why our sun is tethered to Sirius. That's a fact. Our sun is tethered to Sirius because of the creator. That's why when you sun gaze, you're going past this motherfucker here, and you're getting complete information from the true God, from true eternity. Right? Because our sun is tethered to the other sun, Sirius, back to the godly realm. You understand this? So that's why this damn thing, all these evil motherfuckers, they want to block the sun, they want to give you fucked up GMO foods. These are the beings he created. Everything they do is all wicked, against nature, against true God. Everything they do is against nature. They want to make robots and AI and all against God. This thing is fighting a battle against the creator because it's not it. This is why all your goofy stories and your goofy Bible, because your goofy devils and your goofy fucking Allah and devil shit. It's this motherfucker. He's the devil and your fake God in one. He's all of it. And so he created other beings, which you call demons, right? And so he took those other individuals where you get the creation of black people being controlled by this thing and start creating a non-black entity, white people, Asians, other people, to house this demonic the energy of this motherfucking thing is housed in them. That's why they want to go to war. That's why they're wicked. That's why they're racist. And being against black people gives this fucking thing energy. Because you're the only people that's attached, because you got what? Souls. So you're attached to God. The true God. But no other beings are not. They're what? The soulless beings. Created by this fucking thing. Go ahead, Joby.
Will. But there was a limit. He couldn't create true life.
Exactly.
He couldn't breathe divine light into what he made.
No.
His creations were hollow copies, imitations of a truth he had never seen.
Imitation.
He could build the stage, but he couldn't write the story. He was like a child with fire, powerful enough to burn, but too ignorant to know the danger.
He was ignorant. He didn't have the power to do it because he didn't have enough energy. He didn't have enough energy. So that's when you see these other people, they mimic black people. Every time they do, they mimic us. It's always a mimic. Because they can't create, because this fucking thing can't create. It's mimicking. Go ahead,
translated as the craftsman, and that's exactly what he became. The architect of the material world, the builder of illusion.
And what you look right here is a little, and you look like a snake. This is all like for your visual understanding. He's a quasar. Don't like no lion and no dragon in the sky and all shit. It's a quasar. So when you see stars and all, these are living in it. Everything is alive with consciousness. Stars are living suns. They're living beings. So he is a mini galaxy. He's a baby galaxy. He's a quasar. But that was becoming a galaxy, but he didn't have the other half to grow as a galaxy. So the demiurge is what you see in the sky is a mini quasar, a mini galaxy. And galaxies what create things from their minds. You're able to now create other galaxies. Give out, baby. You get bursts of other stars and other galaxies and other suns. You're co-creator with the creator. It can't do that. It can only do a small realm because it's detached from its feminine half. It doesn't have enough energy. It is an abomination of God. That's why I told you, you know what about digging in somebody's butt with your penis is an abomination. Going in doo-doo, other thing, because you must have feminine and masculine energy together for creating. As above, so below, guys. And when you hear a woman and a man come together can make a life, because the energy of feminine and masculine energy makes a life. That's why everything's perverted by this thing. So your homosexuality, all this shit's normal, and you're supposed to accept this. That's why you see other people that didn't accept what? Are the Africans. Because the Africans are the only true human being on the planet. You see the Africans what? Consider the true. You ain't got Neanderthal monkey blood and monkey shit in you. Unless you've been sleeping with this thing. With these other creations. You're the only true what? Human being. That means you're straight from God. You came from straight from the Paloma, as your ancestors told you. You didn't evolve from no monkey. There's no evolution. That's a lie. But they must keep these lies going. You know, or the Adam and Eve shit from a rib story. All these crazy lies you caught in. Those are all lies. African people, black people come straight from the Paloma. You come in from the spirit realm. You manifested into the physical and got trapped by this freaking motherfucker here. So imagine African people, you fell in frequency. That's when your body is a magnetic field housing what? Your soul. So when your body dies, it releases the soul, right? So you're no longer trapped. But since you don't know shit, you go right back into the soul trap. So, oh, Jesus came to get me, or Allah, whatever, goopy. SpongeBob is here to get me. Hi, SpongeBob. Yes. Time to go back and learn your lessons and do it again. Like what? No. This whole thing is a whole trap to keep this fucking ass alive through energy. Your body is a magnetic field. You're not supposed to be in a damn 3D body. You're supposed to be a spirit body with nothing. Remember, your body's housing is a prison for your soul. Your body is a prison for your soul. Okay? Instead, as your Africans told you, this is a prison you're in. Because you fell in frequency. That's what created the body. The frequency, the lower vibration. That's why if you raise your vibration, then the body can't house your soul. Your soul just slips right through this body. Because your body's vibrating too high, it can't be housed in the body. It can't be housed in any magnetic field. You just go right through the shit. Like a knife going through butter. That's what you got to understand. So, you're in a soul trap. You're in an illusion. As science, and the Africans are there, you tell you, you're an illusion. This doesn't even exist because this motherfucker created it. You're an illusion of space and time that don't even exist. You're just coming back, living all these goofy lives, and there's really no time passing at all. All you are is an energy feeding. Everybody wanted. That's why these wars. When Joe said World War II was what? That was a burst of energy to get in this fucking thing. Those were sacrifice of energy. They got you drinking blood and eating bodies. That was crazy shit. Remember, everything is an exchange of energy. When you're eating an animal, you're getting a lesser form of energy. Then eating fruit, it's all energy. But as Africans, you don't got to eat shit. Because you get energy straight from the sun because you are a soul being. And nobody's going to teach you that because you're born in a trap. You're born in a death trap. And if you don't ever wake up, you just keep living, keep going back through the shit. And so they're trying to stop it. The vibration is starting to raise again. And all this wicked shit starting to happen. All these crackers are going crazy and killing them. But when you know what it is, what's housed in it, it's the energy of this fucking thing here. Everybody say, oh, this is all fantasy. This is all, no, they've been doing this for millions of years, right? Everybody got like 90% believing in all these dumbass religions. It's all based in fear. You gotta ask yourself, what created the universe wants you to be in fear and worship it? No one wants you to worship it. I'm everything. What could your worship do for me? Giving me money and all. What created the universe can create shit out of his mind? It ain't everything. What the fuck would it need your money? You got the mind of a child. What creator of the universe needs you to worship it? It would never even want that. It vibrates too high to even get your goofy worship. Only a being like this would want your worship. Creator of the universe don't want you to worship it. Well, what? What could you give it? There's nothing you can give or take from it. So like I said, if you understood anything, you know that don't even make any sense. I want you to, I need to be worshipped. No, you're going to worship because you're giving that thing your energy. You're focusing on it. And shout out to the people. Remember, they hid the Nag Hammadi text when they were killing everybody. The Romans were killing everybody. And they found that text again in 1947 in the desert in Kemet. The African world.
I don't know if it's my internet or yours, but you're breaking.
It was the same thing. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
He didn't just create, he copied. He tried to mirror the pleroma above, but his version was distorted, closed, incomplete.
Exactly.
He saw himself as the center of all existence, the highest God, the beginning and the end. But in truth, everything he built was a hollow shell. It had no soul, no spark of divinity, just the echo of stolen power.
Exactly.
And yet, that echo was enough to shape a world. The Demiurge began crafting layers of reality, not the open, living harmony of the pleroma, but a closed system, a machine, every part with a purpose, every law ironclad, every soul trapped inside it. This was the structure of control.
Trapped.
He started with the skies, great arching realms, stacked one above the other. To him, they were divine kingdoms, vast heavens of glory. But to those who could see beyond the veil, they were just layers of illusion, dim reflections of the light he'd never known. He made heavens, but locked them tight. He made angels, but chained them to his will. He made laws, but with no understanding of the soul. He thought he was building order, but he was building a prison. And in that prison, he sat on a throne of lies, declaring himself the one true God. There were 7 heavens, some said. Others counted 12, but they all agreed each one was ruled by a gatekeeper, a servant of the Demiurge. These were the Archons.
Archon.
The Archons were born from the Demiurge's will.
Exactly, you understand? And that's what I told you, it gets deep, that all these other people on the planet are children of the Archon. Every non-African is a child of the Archons. Yeah, it's really fucked up. Sure does. Every non-African is a child of the Archon. That's where they came from. That's where they come from the Archon.
Being
Go ahead, Joe.
of immense power, but no wisdom. Each one was like a limb of his body, carrying out his desires. They were rulers, enforcers, and watchers, guarding the gates between heaven and earth. Each Archon was tasked with keeping souls asleep, locking away the knowledge of their true origin. They whispered lies into human thought, wrapped chains around the spirit, and kept the divine spark hidden beneath layers of fear, shame, and distraction. Though each had a name and form, they all served one purpose: to maintain the illusion. The world the Demiurge made wasn't a paradise. It was a closed loop, a system designed to keep souls from escaping. Birth and death, reward and punishment, law and consequence.
Exactly. Work that, come back.
All of it carefully crafted to feel real, but always slightly off, always hollow. He gave people just enough light to keep them moving, but not enough to wake up. Pain was not a flaw in his system, it was the point. Suffering distracted, desire chained, and fear kept everyone in line. He made sure no one could see past the veil, because if they did, they might realize the truth, that he wasn't God,
delusion.
And he never will be. In his hunger to imitate the divine, the Demiurge turned his attention to one last creation: humanity. He wanted something that would reflect his power, a being that could rule over the earth as he ruled over the heavens. So he formed Adam, the first man. He shaped him from matter, just like everything else in his realm: clay and breath, bones and blood. A body, yes, but no spark. Because the Demiurge did not possess the true light. Only those from the Pleroma, the divine fullness, carried it. He tried to animate Adam on his own, but the body remained still, empty, hollow, a shell of a man. But Sophia saw what he had done, and despite the shame and sorrow that birthed the Demiurge in the first place, she still felt compassion. She could not bear to watch this false god craft a living prison without giving it a way out. So she acted. She breathed into Adam a divine spark, a sliver of true light from beyond the veil.
This is the distortion of the story. That's how white people get and take it and change it. It's not the African version. Okay? It's not the African version. The woman came first for the man. See, that's them trips. But see, this is where you get also the Bible shit just mixed up with the Adam and Eve nonsense, right? At least they got a woman. At least they got Sophia, a woman in here. Remember, the Bible takes out the woman completely. There is no woman. It's just crazy. You know, you can't have no grace without no woman. Anyway, so the Demiurge took the Archons, the Africans that were here. We were trapped in this system. Somehow we got trapped and we fell in vibration. And we would, some of us would come, were brought down here to change the system somehow. I'm still fucked up on parts of the story. Yeah, somehow a lot of the Africans' vibration fell. This motherfucking thing was able to manipulate the vibration. So we fell into skin. We fell into a body from the non-body realm. Because whenever you go to the Paloma of any galaxy, that's where the energy is more perverse, right? It's more centered. It's more energy in the center of a galaxy. See, we being way out at the end of this galaxy, the energy is not as focused. So that means we somehow fell into body because we were too far away from enough energy to maintain an etheric body. So we fell in frequency with this fucking thing. And so now we've been caught in this soul trap. I don't know how long we've been here. Just repeating lives, giving this fucking thing energy, right? And we know it created these other people through black people, right? You got some black people that you got coon ass niggas always, right? They want power, lust for what greed. So this thing couldn't create them, but the African could. So we know it was the African that did do it because you have the creating spark. But you made the hollow shell of this thing. That's why these stories are real. You made a hollow shell of these Indians, Asians, and white people. But you had to put some kind of energy in it. Like you said, you couldn't do it to make it what? React, to make it move, to make it function. Some energy in it. So what you did, you took part of this motherfucking thing's energy. Now, I'm not advanced if the Africans did that. Remember, you're dealing with high advanced technology, high advanced Africans. You didn't know that. Smarter than you would ever imagine that we are today. That would take the energy of this fucking thing here and house it into these beings. And the only way it could do that, see, remember, melanin, unless you are on drugs or drinking all the time, they can't manipulate your melanin to put another energetic being inside this house. But an empty shell, that's why it was created white, because there's no resistance. There's no resistance. That's why you know it's not nature. Why they go outside, they get burnt up by the sun. It's not natural. So it was created that way to house this fucking demiurge energy in it. That's what's walking around, demonic, because this goddamn demiurge is demonic energy. They got to look like some cute ass lion and shit. No, it's a fucking demon. Because it fell in vibration when it fell into this realm and started creating. It fell. That's why it feeds off what? Low vibration energy. The music's all fucked up. Kill somebody, shoot somebody, twerk, and all this old crazy shit. And it's based on hate and fear. It's all low vibrational shit. Understand that? It's all based on low vibrational energy. So this thing ain't no fucking lion head. It's demonic. It's low vibrational. And it's got to be fit. So that's why these archons are demonic. And it created a realm of demonic humans. And that's why the Moors said we got to go in there and clean out these motherfuckers. We got to put melanin in this damn thing. Because the Africans knew what was going on. So we got to put melanin in this damn thing. This damn thing is wicked as shit. It's evil. Everything Africans you see, because you created from God. Everything Africans are loving and kind. Because you created from true God. True source. But all other people on this planet are what? Have racism and hatred. Because they got this damn thing's energy in it. You ever thought about that? You're only a human being. Why do you think you got your hair is the only human hair? Because the coils like what? Like electrical coils. Because you get downloads of energy straight from God. Not this damn thing. You get downloads straight from the creator of the universe. No other people do. You do. That's why they got animal fur on their fucking heads. And since this whole realm is based in propaganda, you're like, ooh, I wish I had, like joke, I wish I had blonde animal fur. I'm joking, Joey.
Just amazing.
I know. Of course, I'm saying that's the propaganda. We all been there. That's what I'm saying. I'm using it as a joke. So I would do ear tie, but the ear tie gets all mad. Yeah. Because you're born in lies and propaganda, and most of us, like 90%, lie and die. We live and die in propaganda. And just we come back and do the shit all over again. And knowing you're in a soul trap, feeding this fucking demon. But go ahead, Joe.
I see 10 Speed with a question. I'm going to go through everyone's comment, but 10 Speed also asks, so what happens when black gene mate white children of that entity? Racial offspring?
Hey, it's fucked up. No. Usually, shout out to the little English girl, Joe, the little British girl. She says you're fucked up. I say, the more seem to thought that they were breeding the more seem to think that they were breeding the more think about them having sex, having off-breed children, that they were giving you melanin, that they were giving you a soul. And they were giving you a soul again. Because melanin is what is soul energy. You don't have melanin, you don't have no fucking soul. So black melanin. Everything has melanin to exist. We talking about black melanin. So he was saying, so the Moors believe, by going to have sex with all these white women in Europe, they were giving this beast a soul. They said, we gotta get this goddamn thing a soul, right? So that's what they believe. They said, we gotta go get this thing a soul because, if we don't, he said this goddamn thing would kill all of us before we wake up. That was their thinking, right? That was their thinking. So, but I say, I kind of disagree with that myself too, because usually they go back to white. They're all mixed up, and usually they go back to white, and it don't never work out no way. So I'm just saying, I don't know if I agree with that. But I'm just saying the things that they did. I don't know if I agree with that or not. I'm just saying that's what the Moors said. So it's called the gene stable. It said, that the white race is a soulless bundle of sticks. It's not capable of any love, any right. Remember when Joe was still a baby, said, where's the humanity? Why can this douche wicked shit? Don't think about it. Because they don't have any humanity. They were created not to have any humanity. That's why when we say these things, we get banned. Because these are just truthful things, right? He said, where's the humanity? How can they just kill? How can they just kill? Don't feel nothing. Because you're being an African, you would feel something. They don't. Because it's a completely different creation. Go ahead, Joe.
So let me go through a few comments as we continue. I see Jason in the building. Karibu sana. 10 Speed was saying, I don't know if I'm starting to wonder if the world is really flat. I'm not educated enough to prove that, but I'm wondering.
No, the world ain't flat. That's another side. Give it to the morons, flat. Okay, do this. If the world's flat, I'll make it easy so you don't have to go crazy. You don't understand. Okay, if you take a plane from California, you'll go west to go to Japan. If you take a plane from New York, you'll go east to go to Japan. So if the world was flat, how's that possible? Okay, so that's what I'm saying to you.
10 Speed also says, I think since the white man realizes he can't break through the firmament in the soul.
There ain't no damn firmament. Bible shit. There's no firmament. Jesus Christ. There's no firmament. They would 10 Speed with these biblical nuts believe there's a goddamn ball on the earth. they believe the earth is in a ball, some firmament nonsense. They're like, oh shit.
Mosquito Karibu says it's as if white people have to go through us to get source. Whistle, we have direct access, explains the love, hate they have for us, the love and the hate they have for us. And I also see Jibajaba Karibu Sana once again. I think say hi to you. Hello, hope you're doing amazing. Had a beautiful weekend. Sister Monique says our genetics are powerful and we go to a spiritual place. And I also see Jiba says, if I was a god, I wouldn't be bothered with humans. I know.
Exactly.
Too chaotic. It's crazy. Shout out to Judge Guy. Hope you're doing amazing. Also says, Keith, you're breaking up because you're speaking the truth. That's what's up. Of course, it's YouTube. Also see Jerome Oscar says, has anyone noticed since the 1st of January this year, they have gotten more wicked? Literally, there's a lot of violence, especially with these ICE agents. Like, crazy. Like, this was just crazy. I don't know. But I've seen it personally on the internet. A lot of chaos are happening with this. It's crazy. I also see Juba says God is a snake for screwing Joseph's virgin bride. He broke his own commandment. And Jason says that's where the Anuna comes from, other advanced creation. And I also see Ricky Snow Karibu Sana says I've been to Antarctic. Hey, yo, English. Antarctic for Navy shell back, and is Dwala is Antarctic to this black pyramid. I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing the word correctly, but yeah, I also see 10 speed. So did this so-called demagogue take black peoples already here, or did he just create his own people out or whatever? That's a question to Keith. And Sister Monique, I think you have to come to the main channel. That's why you can't see a lot of comments. I don't know which channel you're literally streaming with us from. You have to come to the Keith Newsome channel. If you're on, you have to come to the Black Orphan Network, sorry. If you're on the Keith Newsome or the Keith Newsome Live, you have to come to there's the Black Orphan Network main channel with 23 subscribers. You'll find us right there. But anyway, let me continue as we get closer to winding up.
And in that moment, humanity became something more than the Demiurge had intended. Adam stood up. He lived. And the Demiurge panicked. The Demiurge sensed something he couldn't understand burning inside this new creation. A light that was not his. He saw it as a threat, a flaw, a corruption. But in truth, it was not a flaw. It was the first rebellion. From that day forward, the Demiurge would do everything in his power to suppress that spark, to bury it, to drown it in laws, shame, and fear. He would rewrite the narrative, trap the soul in ignorance, and make sure no one ever discovered where that light truly came from. But it was too late. Sophia didn't stop with Adam. She placed another spark in Eve, the feminine reflection of the divine. Together, they carried within them the memory of something greater, something beyond this world. And it was Eve who first listened when the truth.
There's the link, Sister Michelle, Sister Monique. There's the link of the main YouTube channel. Hope you get it and get everyone there.
Came whispering. In Gnostic tradition, the serpent in Eden was not a deceiver. It was a messenger, a voice from the higher realms. It came not to trick, but to awaken. It told Eve the truth, that she and Adam were more than the Demiurge had allowed them to know. That the fruit was not death, but knowledge. The divine truth, also called gnosis. When Eve ate from the tree, her eyes opened. When Adam followed, he too saw the lie. They were not the creation of a true God. They were children of light, trapped in the image of a false one. And that changed everything. Hey everyone, just a quick intermission here. I wanted to say thank you for watching this. I know you could hit that. Any more of our fascinating stories, a thumbs up, make it different. The Demiurge had lost control. The divine spark, buried deep in humanity, was now awake. And that spark, once kindled, could not be put out. It remembered, not in words, but in feeling, a faint echo of a higher place, a longing for something more than rules and flesh and fear. And the Demiurge hated that. He couldn't destroy the spark, so he turned to his only remaining weapon, deception. He built layers upon layers of illusion, religions that promised salvation but chained the soul to dogma, laws that rewarded obedience but crushed curiosity, systems that rewarded order but punished questioning. He placed archons over each layer, rulers, watchers, enforcers. They shaped every level of the material world, from the stars above to the flesh below. Each heaven they built was a mirror of the pleroma, twisted, fractured, and fake. Every part of reality became a distraction, every desire a trap. The demiurge didn't need to imprison your body. He only needed to blind your soul. But the spark kept flickering. It whispered in dreams, in suffering, in love, in silence. It reminded the soul that it was more than this place, that it had come from light and could return to it. And so began the war within. Not a war of swords or fire, but of memory, of identity. The soul, trapped in the flesh, would stumble through the world, haunted by an ache it couldn't name. It would try to fill the void with pleasures, with power, with belief, but none of it would be enough. Because none of it was home. Some would go mad, others would awaken. A few would hear the voice of the divine through the noise, the call to remember. And every time a soul remembered, the illusion weakened. The demiurge knew his world was fragile. It looked eternal. It felt real. But it was built on a lie. And lies can only hold if no one looks too closely. The illusion could not last forever. The aeons, the beings of true light, watched from beyond the veil. They saw what had become of Sophia's forgotten child. They saw the souls imprisoned in his imitation of creation, and they chose to act. In many Gnostic traditions, they did not send an army. They sent a messenger, sometimes called the Christ Aeon, sometimes the Logos, sometimes simply the messenger, this being descended not to conquer, but to awaken, to stir memory, to whisper the forgotten truth into the hearts of men. He entered the prison quietly, born into it. He walked among the lost and broken, not as a ruler, but as a reminder. He told them they were not from here, that their true home was light, that the world they saw was not the whole truth. And most of all, he taught them how to see. This was gnosis, the knowledge that heals, not facts, not doctrines, but a deep, living recognition. You are more than this. You come from above, and you can return. The demiurge couldn't stop it. He tried, of course. He unleashed fear, crucified the messenger, twisted the message. He cloaked gnosis in layers of theology, law, and ritual. He offered counterfeit versions of salvation that led nowhere. His authority was never based on truth. It was based on blindness. And now, people were beginning to see. But not all agreed on what this meant. Some saw the demiurge as a fool who could be redeemed, while others saw him as the enemy of all light. The story of the demiurge is not carved in a single stone. It shifts depending on which Gnostic tradition you follow. But one thing never changes. He is never the true God. Still, the question remained, what is he really? A misguided child? A tyrant? A tool? Or something worse? In Scythian Gnosticism, the older and more radical branch, the demiurge is irredeemable. He is not simply mistaken. He is the enemy of truth. The Scythians saw him as the God of the Old Testament, wrathful, jealous, demanding blood and obedience. They didn't view that as holiness. They saw it as the mark of a false god trying to control what he didn't understand. To them, the demiurge was not a bumbling fool. He was a cosmic tyrant who twisted reality into a prison, obsessed with power, completely cut off from the light. The serpent in Eden, a hero. The fall of man, a mislabeling of mankind's first awakening. And the goal was simple: expose the lie, break the illusion, return to the true source beyond the heavens. But not all Gnostics were so hostile. Valentinian Gnosticism took a softer approach. To them, the demiurge wasn't evil, just ignorant. He was the byproduct of Sophia's mistake, a malformed being who didn't know where he came from. He truly believed he was God, not out of malice, but because no one had ever told him otherwise. In this view, the demiurge was a kind of cosmic warden, blindly maintaining a system he thought was real. And maybe, just maybe, he could be taught, reached, even redeemed. Some Valentinians believed that Christ descended not only to awaken humanity, but also to shine light on the demiurge himself, to remind him that he too came from something greater. The demiurge has also been linked to more familiar names. Some Gnostics equated him with Yahweh, the God of the Hebrew Bible, particularly the parts where he demands loyalty, punishes doubt, and claims sole divinity. Others saw him as a distorted reflection of Satan, not the embodiment of evil, but the great deceiver, the one who traps rather than frees, who claims what isn't his. Still others believed the demiurge wasn't really a being at all, but a symbol for systems of control, for false authorities, for the voice that demands obedience without understanding. Whatever his label, one thing remained constant. The demiurge is not the highest god. He is not the source of light. He is not the end of the story. Maybe the demiurge never left, not as a winged beast, not as a screaming god in the clouds, but as an idea, a pattern, a system. In the Gnostic view, the demiurge was never just about one being. He represented something deeper, something far more familiar. The lie that what we see is all there is. The illusion that power equals truth. The belief that control, domination, and blind obedience are divine. We still hear his voice in the places where authority goes unquestioned. We see his face in institutions that strip away choice in the name of order. We feel his grip in ideologies that reward ignorance and punish doubt. Gnosis, true knowing, was always the threat. Not because it gave people secret magic, but because it gave them clarity. The clarity to see that not every throne is earned, that not every law is sacred, that sometimes the God behind the curtain isn't a God at all. In a world full of noise, silence still speaks. In a world built on illusion, truth flickers.
Yeah, so literally, we're going to come to the end of today's conversation right there. Think we lost Keith, but that's the end of that amazing video. Thank you, 10 Speed, for the question which has gotten us to this deep conversation of understanding this version. But literally, I guess we're gonna be wrapping it up today right there with the Africa Today show. That has been my time with you guys today, and of course my name is Joby. In case you're here for the first time, subscribe. This is the media of the 21st century, Blackout Fire Network. Feel welcome to downloading our app on the Google Play Store. Blackout Fire Network is the name. We have amazing things. Apart from just this conversation, we have other previous conversations that you can catch up with that are previous. We have my show, which today's show actually was very, very informative. That's which got me to the first conversation we were having about how does the 1% control the world? Still leads us actually back to the question that 10 Speed literally did ask, and that's understanding the creation, this creation, literally. How does the 1% control the world? It's a very big question and still goes very, very deep, For us, even, I feel like it's not even very depth dealt with or talked about, because I feel like this caught also Keith off guard. He was to do this during the weekend, but he didn't get time to. And of course, this kind of conversation also, you need to do research, you need to put videos aside, you need to put articles aside. So if we go deeper, I feel like we need to still reveal. Goes to Israel. Israel. This Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, man, still a big, big question, Still goes back to what we've talked about, but goes deeper, if you understand what I'm trying to say. But have yourselves a beautiful, beautiful rest part of your day. That has been my time. 15 minutes past the top of the hour, literally 15 minutes past 10 p.m. Don't know what's the time on you guys' end, but have yourselves an amazing rest part of your day. That has been my time. Again, peace and light to y'all.